job. Then give him a pat and tell him he's a good boy.
Good morning. My name is Julia Mason. My husband and I live in Oregon. We have Dandelion Dreams Farm, and that's the intro. So yeah, welcome back, I guess, and hello if I've never seen you before or you've never seen me before. Oh, this is my buddy Washburn. He has not been appearing in the podcast very much lately. He's kind of a turd. Yeah, he kind of kept me up all night being a jerk, because cats are jerks sometimes. But anyways, so yeah, hello everyone. I guess I will start talking about the update on the property situation, and then I'll cover knitting, because as you can see, I got some knitting done. So last week I was just sharing, or 2 weeks ago I was just sharing how we were really liking this property that we looked at over in Bend, and that's Central Oregon. We're on the west side currently. And yeah, so I was super anxious, and oh my gosh, I was so anxious. It was torturous. And then it got worse because it took a really long time to like kind of figure out a deal that we were both happy with. I don't know if you can hear him, but Wash is like racing around the living room. And my wonderful husband is in the kitchen. He's always complaining that I never talk about him in the podcast. So anyways, he's wonderful. No, he is really awesome. But yeah, he's just getting packed up and ready to go to work. I'm trying to record. I hope this is approximately where I had the camera before, because the cat came and like knocked everything down because he is really hyper. Anyways, yeah, Nicholas is just getting packed up and driving away for work for today. So I forget what I was talking about. I guess I was trying to say that it took a while to negotiate for the property. Originally they had agreed to a 4% fixed rate, and that was really important to us. More the fixed rate, because I mean, we would have gone a little bit higher on the interest rate, because I mean, we wouldn't have even gotten 4% from the bank. But anyways, we were communicating via email, and it was slow and confusing, and they just didn't seem to get what we were saying, and it was like, what is going on? And it was stressing me out to no end. Let me just adjust that a little bit. So yeah, I was super stressed and anxious and just feeling like it wasn't going to work out. And, but yeah, in the end, it was fine. And they agreed, well, so they were talking about, they kept wanting to do an adjustable rate mortgage, and that was just not something we were willing to do, because yeah, a few years down the road, the interest rates could go really high, and then we would be stuck with a very high monthly payment, and that is a scary thought. Like, I don't want to be put in that position. So they talked about doing like a cap on the fixed or on the adjustable rate, or doing like a shorter term, or doing a higher down payment, or they were like trying to make it really complicated. And then finally they emailed back and they were like, well, we did some math, and then we figured out that we were just overcomplicating it, and the 4% is fine with the original price. So we're like, okay, cool. So yeah, we're gonna be putting in the well ourselves, so it'll take us a while to get moved out there, because we have to, you know, save up the money to do that, and then do it, and then we're thinking of purchasing a yurt maybe next year. I don't know how we're gonna do it all, whether or not we're gonna be able to save up enough money to do it all at once, or whether it'll just be a slow process, or if we're gonna have to do a loan, like a personal loan for the well and or the yurt, or what we're gonna do. It's kind of all still up in the air, but for now, that's the basic plan. Is yeah, we put down earnest money on the property, which is just the very first step. It's not a proper down payment. If they end up finding somebody else they'd rather sell to, that they can still do that, and we get the money back. Or if we change our mind, they get to keep the money. So yeah, so this camera is so annoying how it's angled now. I don't know what the cat did to it, but anyways, so yeah, that's really kind of scary, but it's exciting, and I really hope it all is a good choice. Yeah, so I'm thinking what we'll probably end up doing is like maybe next summer getting a really cheap fifth wheel to stay in during the summertime. Ah! This cat, man. He is hyper. Oh, how are you hyper? You were up all night, I feel like. Oof, don't snag my sweater. The sassiness. I forget what I was saying again. Golly. My brain is not working. I haven't recorded over the weekend because I've just felt so out of it. I was like, this is going to be the worst podcast ever because I just feel like brain dead. I was seriously having anxiety one day about the property because I was waiting. They told me that he would call, and I didn't know what they were calling about because we had kind of left things in a weird place on the email. Like, I was just waiting for a counter offer, basically, and he was like, our manager will call you tomorrow, and I was like, what? So anyways, just super anxious and like kind of losing my mind all day. And then I finally talked to the guy, and he was lovely, and we got it all worked out. And I was like, why couldn't we have just talked on the phone originally? But anyways, yeah, so our plan is probably get a fifth wheel temporarily to stay in. That was close. And then yeah, maybe by the fall of next year, purchasing a yurt and putting that up and staying in that for a few years. They can be pretty livable, especially if you get a larger model, and then you, of course, are building like a deck for it to sit on, and then you can have a wood stove and a kitchen and all that stuff. So, and we've lived in fifth wheels and small spaces a lot, so I think we'll be okay. But we'll see. And the nice thing about a yurt is it retains its value really well, and we can either sell it at the end or keep it and use it as like a secondary space for family to come stay or friends to vacation or an Airbnb or something like that. Even though with that driveway, I don't know about the potential for an Airbnb up there. It's a pretty ridiculous driveway. I think people would struggle with that. So, anyways, yeah, so that's pretty exciting and crazy. Our other farm news is that our puppies are all officially spoken for. We had somebody come to look at our female, and well, he was actually just coming to look at the litter and pick one, and I really wanted him to take the female that I was most attached to because I didn't want her to be the last to sell, because then we might get stuck with her and I wouldn't want to sell her because she's sweet and I love her. So he ended up really liking her too, so that was great. He was torn between two of them, and he ended up finally deciding that he really liked her. And then his sister had come along with him. Actually, they came in a helicopter, which was crazy and awesome. And they landed out in our pasture, and you know, within minutes, Facebook was blowing up with the neighborhood community being like, "Are you guys okay? Like, are you dying?" Because it's the only reason a helicopter would land out here normally. So, but yeah, he came out and landed in our pasture, and that all went really good. And his sister came with him, and she fell in love with one of our male puppies, and she had just lost a border collie recently, and who, you know, to old age, and so she was like, I'm not really ready for another puppy, but anyway, she ended up falling in love with him, and we told her that she could take him that, you know, that day because she was really in love with him. So she carried them in her lap, and I'll insert a picture, but it was really sweet. They sent pictures of them all the way home, and they've sent us a bunch of pictures since then, and they look like they're doing super good. So that's exciting. And then the next day, our last puppy, we got an email, and somebody put a deposit down on her for their kids, for their kid to have as a pet and companion. So it's a little bit of a bummer because none of them ended up really going to a working home. Although the people that flew in and got their puppies, they're going to teach them to hunt sheds, and which is sheds are like antlers that the deer and elk shed each year, and you can train dogs to find them. So that will be their, you know, job, and also to chase deer off the property and stay out of their orchard and stuff. So that's, I mean, they'll have something to do. It's not like they don't have a job, but they aren't in a herding home specifically. So that's the only bummer is we don't really get to see what they're capable of in that way. But, you know, it's like they're going to be good homes. They're going to be well taken care of. The only one I'm a little bit concerned about is the last puppy. The other ones were a little lower energy and calmer. This last puppy, I've warned the people, like, this is an intense puppy. She's very high energy, really, really needs attention. Like, she's going to be a lot of work, and they, you know, seem to be okay with that. And we're going to let them know, you know, if this puppy is too much for you, bring her back. Like, we will take her back. I don't want her to, you know, get abused or get put down or something because she's too much work. But, so yeah, they're people who buy our puppies are always welcome to bring them back. But yeah, so that's the puppy front, and that's a relief. Yeah, I'm glad that we won't be stuck taking care of young dogs again for a while, so that'll be good. And then we're selling our rabbitry. We're just trying to get rid of anything extra that is an expense so that we can get ready to move next year. And so our rabbitry hopefully is all going to be gone by next month. And we've sold a bunch of random sheep that didn't really fit with our breeding program. We'd had a few random animals that were of different breeds that we had just tried out to see what we thought of them, and they didn't fit in with the polypay breeding program, so we were like, okay, get rid of them. And then the last thing that's kind of a little stressful is we sent a sample of milk in from our goat herd because I'm concerned that maybe the staph A has infected the goats and maybe the sheep also, but we can't test them because they're already dried up and they don't have any milk. So the staph A is contagious mastitis. We had it brought in by a cow that we purchased, a dairy cow that we purchased a couple years ago. And after that, all of our cows became infected, and we've just slowly had to put them all down. We have 2 more that we have to put down this fall, and it's just really horrible and sad and just stinks. It's really bad. But anyways, and now I'm really worried that maybe the sheep or the goats are infected just because they're in the environment that it's in, and I don't see why they wouldn't become infected if the cows became infected. So we're testing the goats now, and even if they are positive, we will probably let them breed this year and kind of make our decisions right before we move, because the contagious mastitis is like mildly uncomfortable for them, but it's like once they have it, they will continue to spread it and they will continue to have it. So you can't just live with it, and we definitely don't want to be bringing it to a new property and infecting that property. But since it's on this property already and it's not like extremely uncomfortable for the animals or that dangerous, we'll probably just let them breed this year and then make our decisions next year about what we're going to do with them. If they're infected. Hopefully they're not. That would be really awesome. I really, 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 really hope that the test comes back negative, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope, but and then the sheep will test them in the spring when they lamb, because we can't get milk from them until then. So anyways, so that's a little bit stressful. I'm just feeling like, man, if everyone has staph, it's gonna suck. We're gonna have to kind of totally start from scratch, and that will really stink. And it'll be really hard to work on developing the property if we don't have livestock to help rehabilitate the pastures, because how we do that is by rotational grazing and getting the animals to browse the plants that are there, and because right now it's just like sage and juniper, and we need to clear a lot of the juniper to get the grass to come back. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent. So I don't know what we'll do if our animals end up being infected. I don't know what we'll do. We could potentially keep all of the ewe lambs from next year. We're going to be buying a polypay ram this year, so we'll finally have purebred offspring from them. So we'll buy a polypay ram. Maybe we'll keep the lambs from this coming breeding, but I don't know. If they have staph A, there's evidence that animals can contract staph A from nursing off of moms with staph A, but I don't know. And then some people say that's malarkey, but then I don't know if it's worth the risk of bringing the disease with us. So I have no idea what we're going to do. And I guess you can vaccinate for it, but it's not really effective. But maybe it's something we could try with the youngsters and just kind of start over. but we were committed to buying 3 ewes and a ram from the breeder that we got our original 7 from. And so maybe we'll just keep those animals isolated from our herd and start from there and just kind of start over. I have no idea. But I'm kind of probably stressing out about it a little too much because it maybe might not be a problem, but I feel like it is. It's kind of a bad feeling I've had for a long time. So anyways, that's that. I think I'm going to move upstairs. So just a second. Okay, I moved. My dad was just getting up and came downstairs, and I feel awkward about talking to myself in front of people. It's just feels weird. So anyways, I will talk about knitting things now. This is the knitting segment. What I have to share obviously is my Agatha cardigan by Annie Saterland. This cat, man, he followed me up here and now he's being a hellion up here. Yeah, so I finished this. I think last time I only had 1 sleeve left. Maybe I had part of 2, I don't know. The one thing that I don't love about it is it does pull open a little bit at the button band, and so I'm wondering if I should reinforce it with ribbon or something on the back side. And this is the length that I went for. So the pattern only was supposed to go to here and then have ribbing down to here. I chose to mirror these are the decreases. I chose to mirror them in increases down here and then do the button or the ribbing at the bottom lower. I'm really happy with the way that it looks. I think it looks really, really nice. We've got the lace. It looks hilarious without a person in it because it shrinks because of the lace. And there's the back panel. So yeah. The yarn is Cascade 220 Heathers, I think. And it's the colorway Ireland. And it's really pretty, but it's not very soft. It's a little bit scratchy on my arms. So, and I feel like it looks a little bit weird to wear a shirt under it because of all the lace. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. But I like the way that it looks just like this. It's just a little bit scratchy. And maybe I'll get used to it. Maybe it'll soften up. I don't know. I have not blocked it yet. So I don't know if that will change how it looks or anything. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It was in a somewhat enjoyable knit. I feel like it was a little bit, it wasn't like that exciting, but it also was not that relaxing, if that makes sense, because it did have a lot of details. But yeah, like when I worked on my Estonian shawl, I still am working on it and I've put it on hold so I can use the needles actually. But that Estonian shawl, like the whole time I was just working straight from a chart, and it was very like engaging and fun, but like repetitive enough that like each row was repetitive and then it changed and then that was repetitive. I don't know. So that was fun. This I think is pretty repetitive, and but it doesn't change until you get to a new section. So I don't know. It was pretty enjoyable to knit. I think part of the problem was that I didn't love working with the yarn. So, and I liked knitting the sleeves. Actually, the sleeves were probably my favorite part to knit, I think. So yeah, that was fun. And then the button bands and everything were really fast. But yeah, so it was a good pattern. I really like the outcome. It wasn't the most exciting thing to knit in the world, partly because it was just one plain color for a long time, and then partly because the yarn was not my favorite. It wasn't very soft and fun to work with. So and the gauge, I don't love knitting with bigger, heavier gauge stuff. Yeah, it's fine. It's faster, which is nice, but yeah, it's not that enjoyable to me. But I don't like tiny either. I like 3 to 4 millimeters is like my sweet spot. So anyways, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm happy to have it done. I think it'll be a really nice dressier cardigan to wear places that I don't go. Anyways, so yeah, that is that. That is my only finished object this time. I've been knitting pretty monogamously. I guess I'll show you a couple other things, and then I'll save my work in progress for last because it's a surprise. It's a gift for my friend, and I've told her Sarah, if you're watching this, don't watch the end section, and I'll warn you, because it is a gift, so I would like her to be surprised. But the other thing I wanted to show you is that this, I showed you quite a while ago, is the crop top that I knitted. The pattern was by Samantha Stadler, and I'm thinking I might need to frog it, because every time I wear it, it stretches out to be enormous. Like, it just turns into this amorphous blob that just hangs off of my body like a bag. And I don't know what the deal is with the yarn or what it is, that it just stretches out and then it doesn't fit me good. And it's like the section up here is too, the stockinette section is kind of too small, and then the ribbing kind of rides up, and I don't know, it just isn't working for me. And I think it looks really cute when it's freshly washed and dried in the dryer, just because that makes it shrink a little bit, and so it looks really cute, and then I wear it for a little while and then it stretches out and just kind of like falls off and looks silly. So I'm thinking about frogging it, but I don't know if I can, because I'm worried that it maybe has, I don't know if I can get it to focus on that, that it maybe has felted a little bit too much for that. I think it looks more felted than it is because it's not focusing. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. So I wondered if anyone had experience with frogging something that has been worn and washed a bunch of times, and is it possible? Because this is really beautiful yarn, and it was Life in the Long Grass yarn, and I really, really like it, and I would like to knit it again. And I have another 40 or 50 grams of it, because this was only 50 or 60 grams. So, yeah, so I have a bunch left, but I don't really want, I mean, I would like to have all of it, because this is not really getting worn because of the bagginess issue. So I thought about frogging it. I think it's a little bit dingy colored in comparison to the fresh 50 grams, so I might maybe split them up into two different projects. I don't know, because this is, yeah, looking a little dirty and weird. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I thought about frogging it and using this colorway in like a colorwork pattern. I thought that would look kind of cool, just like with some darker contrasting color. But yeah, I really, really like the yarn. I really like the fabric that it makes, but the item is just kind of useless for me because it just stretches out immediately. So that's a bummer. I don't know what to do with it. But yeah, if you have any ideas or have any experience with frogging something that's a little bit felted together, it's not terrible. It's just, yeah, I think especially like the edges are going to be hard to get apart. But yeah, let me know your opinion. That would be great. That's the bummer. So this, and I think the rainbow hat that I was knitting for Felicity, I'm gonna need to frog. But I'm putting it in timeout for a while because I just can't figure out what I want to do with it. So yeah, see, this is annoying to me. I think I need to reinforce that button band. I think if I had stopped knitting where the pattern called for, it wouldn't be as much of a problem, but oh well. Next I have, this is just something that I'm going to be casting on soon. I thought I would show you ahead of time. Ooh, it's so soft. This yarn is incredibly soft. This is Cloudborne Fibers Superwash Merino Twist, and oh, I don't know if you can even read that, but it is so very soft. It doesn't even feel like it should be from an animal. It's just, I mean, like it should be from kittens or something. But yeah, it's very soft. So I need to cake these up, but I'm thinking of making this baby blanket for a friend. I don't know if it will look too plain because all of my skeins are exactly the same, but it's pine something. I'll look up the pattern name, but it's like pine trees or pine forest or something like that. And it's just a simple lace baby blanket, and it's a pretty popular pattern. There's lots and lots of projects on its page, but it looks nice and like a little bit complicated, so it'll be interesting, but simple enough that you can kind of get the rhythm of it and not have to be staring at it the whole time, because I think it would be nice to have a project like that. So, I mean, the project that I'm working on now is kind of like that. It's pretty mindless. There's only a couple places where you need to remember to do an increase or decrease, and then yeah, and then like every 5 or 6 rows there's one different thing you have to do. But yeah, so it's pretty easy. It's basically just garter stitch. So but yeah, I'm thinking about casting this on next. I don't know whether or not, I probably will cast it on before I finish my next project, because it would be nice to have a little bit of variety. And I stole the needles from my Estonian shawl, so I can't work on that. And I actually don't know what size needles this project calls for, so I'll have to look that up too. But yeah, that's my next thing that I'm going to be working on. And lastly, I'm really craving color work, but I can't decide what to do with that. But lastly is my friend Sarah's gift. And so if you're watching, Sarah, I love you, but quit watching. And here we go. This yarn I tried to show you last week, and I realized suddenly that I wasn't gonna show it to you because Sarah might be watching. So and then I debated whether or not I was gonna show it at all, but then I finally was like, well, if I don't, I won't have anything to talk about on the podcast. So yeah, and also it would be really sad to finish it and then mail it off and then not really be able to talk about it very good. But yeah, so this yarn is freaking awesome. I really, really like this yarn. It actually looks a lot more two-toned than it has been up until this section. Mostly it has been pretty even. But yeah, so this yarn is called, I think it's Painted Deserts, but let's see. Find the label here. Painted Desert Knitting Fever, I think is the brand. Pure superwash Australian wool. Just 100% wool, 400 meters, super fine. Yeah, Washed Jade is the colorway, and that's the color number 32. Yeah, so yeah, this stuff is really, 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 really nice. So it's not merino, it's just wool, but it's really soft, but very, I don't know how to describe it. It feels very sheepish, like not scratchy. Like this feels like what I thought wool felt like before I started knitting with wool. It's kind of scratchy, and yeah, and this isn't superwash. Did they say this was superwash or not? Oh yeah, it is superwash. Huh, that's interesting. I wasn't sure, but that's nice because I'm giving it away and I want her to be able to wash it without, yeah, being worried about it. So I think I did that on purpose actually, because for gifts I think superwash is nice. So it's very, very soft, really surprisingly soft for not superwash, for not merino. I mean, it might be merino, it just says wool. It might just be a mixture of things, but it's really soft and very like stretchy and springy. And I just really like working with it. I've been really, really happy with it, and I would highly recommend it. I think I got it on the I Love Knitting website again, because I tend to do online shopping and it tends to be impulsive. And it was, I think it was on sale for a decent price, but it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world. But yeah, just super pretty. The color variation is really pretty. It's kind of a doing this stripy thing, and this is the Close to You pattern that's pretty popular. And my only complaint is that it hasn't been blocked, so then it just kind of wrinkles up because it's very stretchy yarn, and so it pulls itself back together. But yeah, I think it's gonna look really cute when it's done. Yeah, I'm really loving that. I think that'll be really adorable and wearable for somebody who's not like a crazy knitter. Sarah does knit. I don't know if she knits. She does know how to knit. And maybe she does sometimes. She knitted my girls some cute things a long time ago. So, or I guess Felicity. So anyways, this pattern is fun and very simple. It's a lot of garter stitch, and then yeah, every few rounds you have this eyelet section, and they're not typical eyelets. It's like a double yarn over that you then knit into 2 stitches, and then anyways, the pattern is free, and so you're welcome to go look at how it's all done, and it's very fun and relaxing and easy and simple. So I'm very happy with it. Ouch, the cat's getting my leg. Don't be mean. Yeah, so this is about how long my rows are now, and it increases by like 1 stitch every 2 rounds, I think. So I am really enjoying working on this. The colors, I don't love stripy things, but not in this way. But I think as I go on, the stripes will get thinner and more, I don't know how to, more mushed together. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm really, really liking this. It's soft, I think. Yeah, I think it's comfortable enough to wear around your neck. Oh, I forgot to mention, I cut my hair off. I'm sure you might have noticed already. My hair was down to like here, I think. And I had cut it once already, but I had just like layered it, and I really liked the way that it looked. I was really happy with it, but I never wore it down, or even like this, even though in the podcast I tend to, because I think I look really funny. The way that I wear my hair all the time looks really dumb, but I don't notice it normally. I only notice it when I record, because that's when I see myself. So Nicholas was like, I kind of think you should cut your hair so you'll wear it down more, and because, you know, he doesn't like my stupid bun that I wear all the time. And it's not a cute bun. Like, some people are good at doing cute messy buns. I'm not at all. So anyways, so like on an impulse, I just chopped it all off, and I think it looks okay. It's a little bit like curlier and floofier than it normally is, because it doesn't have all that weight pulling it down. So now it's kind of like whoosh. So I cut it thinking it was gonna be like here, and then it shrunk because of the curliness. So if I were to straighten it, it'd be slightly longer, but not that much. And then I also did an undercut. I don't know if you can see it, but I did an undercut where I like shaved the back of my head a little bit, so that so I'm happy with that. What am I trying to say? It got a little bit cold right after I did that, and then I was like, I'm so cold, but I'm getting used to it now, and it's growing in a little bit. So I think what I'll do is let it kind of grow in the winter and then shave it in the spring. It also, actually, a big part of why, the reason I did it originally was because when I cut my hair, then all of a sudden it was like whoosh, really big, and I thought taking that under, and it did, taking that underside layer out made it a lot less big and unmanageable. So yeah, it's just a lot easier to take care of this length of hair, and I'm pretty happy with it. I actually do wear it down more, and I wear it like this more, and Nicholas is happy because he can see it. He's like, you know, obviously he prefers my long hair, and he thought it was really pretty, but he's like, I never got to see it, so it was kind of pointless. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And other than that, I think that's all the things. This jerk, ouch, is a jerk. Neutering him didn't fix his his problems. He chased off one of my other cats, my outdoor cat, and she's like living in our woods and won't come out now because she's scared. So that's sad. But anyways, I should probably get going. I think the girls are waking up. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all of your kind words about the property and everything, and I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to like and subscribe and comment, and that helps me get seen by more people. And this cat is ridiculous. What are you doing? You're such a jerk. Yeah, I just really appreciate you guys, and I've really enjoyed talking to everyone, and I really appreciate all the support about the property, and I hope that I have, next time I go out there, I really hope to take my camera and take a video and just like show the property and the views and everything. So, and I don't know how soon that will be, but closing is September 15th, so assuming it all works out, that's when we should be moving out there, or not moving out there, that's when we should be closing. So yeah, scary but exciting. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. You can find me on Instagram as Dandelion Dreams Podcast, and on Ravelry as Dandelion's Dream, and on Facebook as Dandelion Dreams Knits. So yeah, feel free to find me all those places, and thanks for watching. Bye.